Let's move on to our fourth main topic today. And our fourth main topic today gets submitted to us by Donald Javier Jr., who writes, I just read that Black Widow is the next victim of the movie Pushback, which I expected to happen because of the movie theaters will be closing for the time being. Do you see other movies getting delayed right now? All right, thanks a lot for sending in that question, Donald. And yeah, listen, there's no doubt, as the days progress, and as the weeks progress, with the movie theaters being closed, it makes it problematic for any movies now. We're at the point that any movies opening in May have to be, if not already deciding to push back, have to be at least considering the pushback. June and July are still movies that they're probably going to wait and see how it transpires. Some of those movies could very well still hit their release dates. But anything in May has got to be considered either seriously considering moving right now or have already decided to move. Rob, you and I were talking just before the show started. Another one, the Saw kind of relaunch, if you will, Spiral, has just announced that they're being pushed back, and that was a May release, if I'm not mistaken. So there's that as well. So absolutely, as each day progresses, we're going to hear about more movies getting pushed back bit by bit. The question for me, though, as we talk about Black Widow, is and this is the question I've been getting a lot of people tweeting to me at and stuff like that, with things like Invisible Man, The Hunt, The Gentleman, Birds of Prey, these movies and a few others going to streaming. Now, granted, those are a different situation than Black Widow. These are movies that already had their theatrical premieres. A couple of them had already pretty much hit the end of their theatrical run, understanding. But with these movies hitting streaming earlier than they normally would, what does Disney do with Black Widow? Because it's a little bit of a complicated situation. On the one hand, there's the assessment that I would make, which is, listen, you're never going to make a third of the money you're going to make on Black Widow, maybe even a quarter of the money you're going to make on Black Widow if you put it out to VOD. You're just not. You got to put it out theatrically. You got to delay it and all that kind of stuff. But there could be other wrenches being thrown into this mix right now. There could be other things to take into consideration. One of the things to take into consideration is, what does a long term, and by long I say maybe a year, what does a long-term push mean for that movie? Well, it could actually make things very, very complicated, because while The Eternals does not come out until November, right? So that's so, what are we in now? We're March, or April, May, June, July, August, September, October. We're still 8 months away. So not really worried about it. But there is Falcon and Winter Soldier, right? There's Falcon and Winter Soldier that's supposed to be coming out in August. Of course, their production has been kind of upended a little bit. So whether or not it makes its August release date, we're not really sure. But if something happens sequentially that we need to know about in the Black Widow movie for certain things in, say, Falcon and Winter Soldier, or maybe even the Eternals going all the way off into November, pushing Black Widow too much could become problematic. Now, I don't really think it's going to be that big of a deal. I don't think Kevin Feige would create a scenario here, Rob, where you absolutely have to watch Black Widow. And if you don't go to theaters, everybody watch Black Widow, you're not going to understand anything that's going on in the MCU. So you either got to watch none of it or watch all of it. I don't think Kevin Feige is going to do that. But it is something that complicates it. So, Rob, I'm personally of the belief right now that this is a movie that will get pushed. They will not put this movie to direct streaming, I don't believe. There's just too much money they're going to be leaving on the table if they do. I believe they're going to put it out when they can put it out. They'll make all their money. But the unknown factor here is, does something vital happen in Black Widow that we must know in order to be able to, with any kind of coherency, watch and understand Falcon and Winter Soldier, or maybe even Eternals in November? If that's the case, maybe then there's a discussion to be had in the war room at Disney between Alan Horn and Kevin Feige about maybe we take this movie and put it onto streaming. Ultimately, a lot of people are asking, what will Kevin Feige do? Kevin Feige, just so you know, Kevin Feige has no say in this. Kevin Feige makes the movies. Alan Horn will decide what gets done with the movie. But I'm sure he'll be consulted. I just don't see it happening But again, that's the big question mark to me. Is there a big enough thing in Black Widow that has to be seen and understood in order for the rest of the MCU to progress? That's the one that could throw a wrench in this. Rob, you know, we obviously heard about the pushing of Black Widow, unsurprisingly, at the end of yesterday's show.
Yeah.
What do you think are some of the reasons why we should believe that they're not going to put this direct to streaming? They will push it off. And what are maybe some of the question marks that might leave the door open that maybe they could? How do you see this whole thing?
Well, like you astutely pointed out, you can't. These movies have the potential to make $1 billion. I mean, these movies, the average, if you average out all 23 of the previous Infinity Saga films, they average out to $1 billion each, and that's unbelievable. And it seems like it's par for the course now for these movies. That is a lot of money. And the way streaming works, the way VOD works, that there's nothing that can come close to that. And it's never been done. Now, could they do some kind of a pay-per-view? You pointed out yesterday, there's just, even if they tried something new, I just don't think they could ever even come halfway there to making that kind of money. And they can't afford to leave that money on the table. They have to give this movie a worldwide theatrical release. And that's got to be, that's the only thing they're going to do. And they'll wait. They'll know. I mean, if Black Widow is released 6 months later, it's not because it's a troubled production. There's a global pandemic that everybody's aware of. And it'll be interesting to see, even when this is all over, will people be going to the movies the way they used to? But I think they're going to turn out for this. This is going to be one of those things that bring people back to the movie theater. And people, they want to see this. The last trailer you and I were both over the moon about. All the material they put out is just better and better. And this movie is definitely not going to go VOD, nor are they going to release it direct to Disney+. There's no way.
So would you say then that, let's say that question mark that I proposed earlier, that let's say, and there's nothing to suggest that this is true, I'm just saying, in the theoretical situation, that there is something revealed or part of information, something in Black Widow that is essential viewing for us to see in order to properly comprehend what's going on in the MCU later on. Would you propose then that if that scenario were a reality, and again, we're not saying it is, but if it was, that Marvel would be in a position to rather push other things as well to make sure Black Widow gets out first? Like, would they push the release of Falcon and Winter Soldier in order to accommodate making sure Black Widow gets in theaters first? Is that what you think they would do?
Well, there's a couple of questions there that are worth paying attention to. First of all, Disney Plus needs new programming.
Yeah.
They really do. And I would imagine that Falcon and Winter Soldier, more than anything, has some kind of tie-in to Black Widow in some way. But maybe it's not crucial. Remember, some of like the post-credit scenes on Marvel movies are fun, but they don't necessarily advance the plot that far. But I would imagine, look, if worse came to worse, because Falcon and Winter Soldier's production has been halted as well. So maybe they just make a shift and they move off Eternals. And, maybe they'll have to move Falcon Winter Soldier anyway because of the halted production. And they just push everything. Look, if they moved Eternals into 2021, I don't know when the next Marvel movie comes out, but it seems like there could be a space there that they've got time, because there's like almost a year between Marvel movies after Eternals, I think. So if they moved Eternals, I don't know, into the Black Panther spot of February and put Black Widow into November, and then made the Falcon and Winter Soldier series also release in November, they could have some great synergy there. I could see that scenario to me. I mean, I think that's probably I think it's pretty likely.
All right,
the way that we're going.
I'm looking at a release schedule right now here, Rob. So Black Widow, of course, that May 1st, 2020, now postponed. Next up is Falcon and Winter Soldier for 2020 in August. Then the Eternals, November. Then WandaVision, December of 2020 on Disney+. Followed by Shang-Chi, that's supposed to come out 4 months or 3 months after the Eternals, with February 12th, 2021. By the way, we announced, we did mention the other day that Shang-Chi, the director of Shang-Chi, halted production while he went in for virus testing. He's out now, and he said he tested clean, so he's all good. Then in May, just a few months after that, is Doctor Strange Multiverse, Thor: Love and Thunder. Then 1 year after that. So there's our release schedule there. But that doesn't really change essentially what you were saying, though.
Yeah, I think honestly they're going to push everything back. They're going to slide everything back by the. I don't know how they're going to make that work, but all production is halted. So, Atlanta is where they shoot a lot of these things. Shang-Chi is shooting in Australia, but I could see them just shifting their entire release schedule.
All right,
which not good for Disney because it's just one other revenue stream that is not being utilized, but the whole world is shut down.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's everybody. Disney's no exception. So the question here is, guys, is what do you think they're going to do? Do you think, no, there is an avenue here, like depending on how big that question mark is that I was proposing, depending on how big it is, do you think there's a chance that they actually could make a decision and put Black Widow straight to streaming? I don't think so. Rob doesn't think so, but you never know what will happen. What do you think about that? Jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys.